Hello, my friend, hello. I'm happy to see you, you know. It's such a joy for us to be together in this clown car. 'Cause we gotta get up when we're together, and we're gonna pat each other on the back like friends.
Just make sure not to pat me too hard.
When I see you and you hold me in your hands. Sorry.
It's quite alright. You're just a bitch.
I am.
You are a bitch, a bitch. Don Clappett is a bitch. He sucks ass.
Oh.
When he holds his wiener in his hands, all he thinks about is his mom. What?
Yikes. How did you get so deep into my psyche?
I read your journal.
Dude, I told you to stay out of there, you little freaky wood nymph. What are you doing here? Listen, if you're just going to keep being around in here reading my stuff and just dancing around the boxcar singing...
I'm going to dance on your grave, too, you piece of shit.
What? Please don't. I can't keep going.
I'm going to do a fucking river dance on that tombstone.
I really
and
wish
then I'm going to bury my gold in your friend's chest.
Don't do that. You're talking about Greg? He can't handle any more stuff inside of his body.
Watch me. Hey, Greg.
Holy shit. Get out of it. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. That's horrible. There you go. Squeeze him out. Squeeze him out of it. Yeah. Oh, yes. Destroyed. Boy, what a strange little nymph coming into the car, singing, and then just trying to burrow into your chest to bury some fairy gold. I don't even know what to say. Although I mean,
how about I'm sorry? You could have woken me up.
Well, I didn't know she was going to go right for your chest cavity. She was just singing and it was all fine and it was a happy time. We're in this carnival themed boxcar this week, you know.
We found this old Barnum and Bailey like travel van.
Yeah, like a moving circus themed car, and it was just hanging out in South Philly in this deserted area of town after the Super Bowl parties, you know, kind of left the whole city just demolished.
Let's be fair. It was the nuclear holocaust that happened in Philadelphia.
Pretty much. Except everybody was a lot happier, it seemed like.
And also there wasn't any kind of like radiation poisoning. It was just very drunk Philadelphians.
Yeah, that we know of so far. I think.
Sorry, I burped. That little nymph was a little...
I know. I see...
sour.
Yeah, I'm seeing some residue of that. Yeah, I see some residue of the nymph on your shirt there.
Oh, sorry. I mean,
okay.
It did start digging into my chest.
I know. Are you all good there? It looks like you're bleeding a little bit. Do you want to touch that up before we start? There we go. Yeah.
I'll just use my thumb to block it up.
Sure.
Like a small Swedish boy and a dam.
I think you're more than Swedish. I think you're sweet. Just, you know, there's no ish about it.
Get out of my van.
So anyway, hello. This is Boxcar Buddies. I'm Don.
I'm Greg.
And we are back again. This time we're in a boxcar, which, as we've said, is sort of carnival themed. It's
a van.
Yeah. It's this deserted, you know, unused circus repurposed car, and there were all these balloons in here, and this is what, you know, Greg and I decided to wheel up and use as our shelter, like we try and do every week, so that we can talk to each other and talk about some content that we've managed to absorb throughout the week, and that's why you know, we were just getting it set up, and we got the box recording set up, and this little wood nymph popped out of the corner. I guess she's just been kind of hanging up in this dark area of the corner for the entire journey from Philadelphia.
She's been watching
to
us
Chicago.
get high on helium.
Yeah, exactly. Which, you know, I guess it was nice of her not to like interrupt that. That was fun. That was fun to be doing, you know, just some whippets in the circus car.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. And then I passed out, and all of a sudden I see this tiny little nymph digging through my chest like a gopher.
And I'll tell you, actually, I thought it was a hallucination at first. I thought I was just super high, hearing this really high-pitched voice singing this happy song. And
Were you singing with it?
I was trying to, and then I just started puking, and it was... It wasn't good, you know. I can't really sing on my own anyway. And then after like 6-7 whippets, I thought I was tripping, and I started to feel very strange. But either way, here we are now. Greg, I'm glad you're okay.
You're glad that I'm all clit.
I think.
Is that what you said, Don?
I've always been glad that you're all clit. If you were half clit, half dick, I don't think we'd be able to do the show. But since you're all clit, you would be. And that is a lovely hermafro you've got rocking on the top of your head right now. I gotta say, it's a new do.
Thank you.
It's a new do for you.
I was able to get one last shower in from Scummy before, you ruined my inn.
What do you mean? I thought he was happy with the flower finger.
He was happy with the flower finger until you ripped it out of my hand.
Oh, shit. Yeah, sorry, but I got really upset last week. And
I'm back to Nubs. I'm Count Nubula.
And Scummy's not letting you back up to his place now?
Mm-mm. Oof. I came in. I tried to hide it for a little bit. I was like, hey, Scummy, I'm gonna hang out in the bathroom. I really got to take a dump. Just give me time. And I sat in there for 3 days hoping that he wouldn't, notice.
Wow.
But the third day came around and he was like, "Oh, what you doing in there?"
Yeah, right. I mean, even, Jesus took 3 days to raise back up, right? You can't be on the toilet for 3 days and not
I kept thinking real hard about a flower growing out of my hand again, but...
a little resurrection action, but it didn't work.
But it didn't work. He saw that shit and he's like, "You've been taking advantage of me," and then he kicked me down from his
perch up there.
The 10-foot pole that leads up to his... home away from home.
Right.
His agrabah.
Yeah, I am sorry I ruined your inn there. I just, I was worried about you. I was positive that thing was going to start eating one or both of us. It was starting to sort of whisper bad ideas into your head.
Bad ideas? It was just having a conversation.
Well, even
that. If you don't take the time to actually listen, how would you ever know that if what they're saying is bad?
Because it's a flower, and flowers aren't supposed to talk to people, even ones growing out of finger holes.
Well, I think I was given a gift, and then you took it away from me. So once again, I am back to a nub.
Well, I'm sure we can find something else to stick in there.
Yeah, well, let's get a couple hot dogs. Why don't we just shove that shit there?
Woo! All right.
I mean, we're back in Philly. We're back in my hometown. Let's go find a cheesesteak. Let's put that whole thing right in there.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be fun. I haven't eaten anything since we've been here,
Really?
I haven't eaten anything since we've been in Philly.
Dude, there's food everywhere.
No, not that.
Circus peanuts.
No, I hate circus peanuts. Those are all sugar.
It's food.
No, it's just... No, I don't want it.
Mister, I do things because I'm hungry.
I don't want that.
I ignore friends because I'm hungry. I rip things out of people's hands because I'm hungry.
Well, I don't know. Thank you. Thank you very much, but I don't want it. I don't want it. You eat it.
Fine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you eat that circus sugar peanut. Ew. And why is it the size of a ham? That's the biggest circus peanut I've ever seen. Yeah, you can't even talk now because you're just going to be chewing for the next 45 minutes on this pure sugary product. It's basically like a taffy condom. You're just going to keep on chewing on the thing. And for what?
For what?
You think you're going to get any energy from that? You think your body's going to be able to run on that pure sugar, that it's burning up more calories right now chewing it than it would ever actually store for your body? That's what you think?
Fall off.
Yeah. Okay, well, I hope that was worth it. Anyway, thank you once again for joining us. We are here, and we're going to talk about some content, and I... Caught in your throat there? Okay.
Man, that tasted like crap.
Better? Yeah, I know. I tried to tell you. That's exactly why I didn't want to... As hungry as I am, a circus peanut just will not do. Ever. But anyway, Greg, I will tell you what did satiate my hunger this week for content anyway was I found myself playing this game.
Yeah.
I was I went back to the branch of the library downtown where they had the media center, and I just kind of camped out there around closing time. And then when the security guard was going around and locking the doors, I just scampered out from the little shadowy corner that I was hanging out in. And the security guard happened to be talking to a checkout lady, at the time, and he was kind of distracted, so I slipped in right around leg height, just slipped right in the door there, and then he closed it. Yeah, and then he closed
James
it.
Bond style?
Yeah, exactly. Except I had to squeeze my body width to down to 6 inches total because he had the door just totally it was already about to close.
Did
so
you
I had
collapse
to just,
your spine like a folding chair
Yeah.
in order to do that?
Well, what I did was, it's kind of like a pizza box, like a cardboard one, where when you squish it and it collapses on itself. That's what I did to my ribs. I just squished them backwards, and all of a sudden I fell, and I was half of my width, and
You're
I just
half the
slipped.
size.
You became this volume.
Yeah. Shut up, you fucking pixie! Die!
I hope she stays dead.
I just can't, I can't have that anymore. I'm going to think that I'm just high and I'm dreaming all of this, and it's not going to be good. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so then I was there in the media center for the weekend, and what I did was I fired up this Xbox that they have for learning purposes, which is just a crock of shit, let's be honest. But I fired it up, and there was this game in there called Shyness: The Lightning Kingdom. And it's a relatively new game. Came out in 2017, April, and it's the first publication from this independent studio, Enigma. And it's, no.
Bless you.
Enigami. That's what it is.
Inagami?
Which is an enigma in itself.
I thought that was some kind of Japanese goddess.
Maybe it is. Maybe that's where the name comes from. But I went to the website of this gaming studio, and this is their first project. They've got some other stuff in the works, but Shyness is the first thing that they've put out. And it's basically the meeting of two minds, this one composer and artist, and this other guy who's like an illustrator and an author, who's been working on the world of Shyness, like the lore and the characters and the legends of it and stuff, for 20 years.
So is the main character's name Shyness?
No, it's not.
Is the Lightning King shy? Is that what this is
Shyness.
about?
It's really about overcoming your fear of talking to strangers. It's just about, hey.
Shyness.
Exactly. Shyness, the light goes off in your head, and you get to start talking to people.
Oh, so that's how you talk to people? You just flick that little light off in the back of your head?
Yeah.
And then you just go, me like movie!
And you hope that they have something...
Me like steak!
Yeah. And then you're friends after that. And then that's what the game
We
teaches
from
you.
forever!
Exactly.
Me strong! Me like
funny.
balloon!
It's almost exactly how the main character sounds in the game.
Oh, that's exactly what he does, but
Pretty
the whole
much.
purpose of the game is going up to random people. I like chocolate!
Yes.
Me strong!
And then they give you side quests, which you have to finish up and stuff like that. No, none of that's true. What it is that Shyness is like this. It's an interesting action RPG, and it reminds me very much of Kingdom Hearts. And that's sort of the play style of it, in terms of you're running around in an open world, and you can see the enemies there in real time doing actions in the environment, and they're just regular creatures until you run up and either engage them in battle, or when you get close enough that they engage you, then the screen shifts and you're in battle mode. And yeah, and then you've got, there's different, it's like Kingdom Hearts in the sense you can equip different disciplines, which are spells, and your party members have different affinities with different elements. There are 4: air, earth, fire, and water, and one character has a higher aptitude to work with water spells. One character has a higher affinity for earth. So you just sort of equip those spells with them because they're more powerful as them and stuff. Either or, this game, for a first run for an independent game studio, I thought it was a great game. The lore, the characters, and the story, all of those things are really strong. The two main characters that you start as are these little things called walkies, which are like fox people, and they're short, and they're kind of like hobbits in the sense that everybody else in the world looks down on them and thinks they're kind of useless and the butt of jokes, But you discover as the main character that they're actually, a lot more useful than people give them credit for. But those are just the first two, and then another guy gets into your party. He's like a giant cat man, kind of like a Ninetales in Pokemon that became a person. So he's pretty badass. Then there's this human, like a smuggler guy. So there's a bunch of different, archetypal characters that end up in your party.
The typical JRPG crowd, the thief,
exactly,
the monk, the mage,
right,
the animal mascot.
Yes, and so the story, and like I said, the characters are all good. The things that are frustrating about this game is that because it is also the first project of this studio, there are certain things about it that are awkward. Sometimes movement mechanics and figuring out the map at the beginning of the game. Fucking aggravating. I will tell you with no like mitigation that I was aggravated starting the game because it was hard to kind of figure out the relation of, how the mini-map related to where you were, what you saw in the game, and it took a while for me to get the hang of that, and so there was a lot of me running around to dead ends, not being able to figure out a path to my next objective, a lot of time wasted at the beginning of the game just trying to figure out the mechanics of it. But other than that and stuff, it is a very interesting game that combines a lot of elements from different genres. I thought the whole junctioning of spells and equipment to yourself, how you learn them, which disciplines turn out working well for somebody. Just because someone's affinity is really high with this one, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to equip that spell to that person, because there are other things that you factor in, such as how strong your gear is, like your helmet and your boots and your armor. That is boosted by whatever discipline you have equipped as well. So it's not just how strong an element is that dictates whether or not you have that spell with a party member. You make that decision based on a lot of different factors. So
it reminds me of a lot of Shadow Hearts. Have you ever played the Shadow Hearts series?
It sounds familiar, but I don't think I've played it.
It's like really obscure like JRPG series on PS2. It never went past the third game. But every character is like an innate element, and they have normal equipment items and whatever. But then you equip like the certain magic types to them, and you have to equip like certain like what they're called like sigils or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the longer you use it, the more spells are unlocked for that character specifically. Yeah. It seems a little bit like that, in that you can use higher level spells with someone the higher their affinity is for a certain element, which you can improve affinity by using spells of that element anyway. Yeah. So it is like that. And it's just it's got a lot, it's like a mishmash of all these different video game parts that I really do like. And aside from some frustration, some mechanical lack of intuition, I guess let's call it, like, unintuitive choices, I guess. Aside from those, it's a worthwhile game. And interesting.
And the way they tell the story, the way that the cutscenes go, it's like you're reading a manga. The way that the video goes, it's like different slides from a comic book frame just rushing in from different sides of the screen.
Colored text pops up with just a character's eyes going, "Nani?"
Kind of. And then once someone does that, a square frame will rush in from the right side of the screen showing a different character, and then their lines will be, it's in Japanese, but then there's the subtitles at the bottom. So it's also a very Japanese game, and because of that, some of the translations and the dialogue are also a little awkward.
Yeah, there's very few games I think that I've played from, especially recently, from Japan where like it got a really, really good translation. Persona 5 was really, really good, but some of its translation was like,
yeah, exactly. You're into the characters, and then all of a sudden,
if we don't kill these guys, we will die.
Yeah, yes, it's exactly. So it's so on the nose. It's not at all subtext. They're speaking extremely plainly, even like insulting each other to great lengths at some points. Like there's somebody in this game that like makes reference to one character's dead father, and like so casually, but it's totally at odds with the other elements of that character. Like he's such a nice dad. Well, he's such a nice character that like as the scene is happening, that you're like, oh, that's just a mistake. That's a mistake in the translation, because that character totally would not say that, but he completely just like blasted somebody in grief over their dying father, and he's just like happily going like, oh, yeah, I was just, just making an observation. Just making small talk.
I was just slam dunking your dead dad.
Right.
It would suck if my dad died, but he isn't.
But he already did when I was like 5, so who cares, right?
My dad not dead. My dad good.
Yeah.
My light off.
Fun to
be like chocolate.
My light off
forever. You're dead. You're dead, punk.
Yes. So if you're okay with on the nose dialogue like that. And like I said, the fun part of the game is the fighting. It's really the battle system, just like with Kingdom Hearts. It's very dynamic. It's seamless when it transitions from you running around in the open world, the exploratory mode, into battle mode. It's a pretty seamless transition. So I mean, that battle system I was really impressed with anyway. I thought that was really cool. So it's fun. It's fun even just for like the fighting. But then there's you get kind of swamped into these side quests, just like a lot of RPGs where you're running through a village and somebody asks you to pick up all the poop from their petting zoo animals and shit, and you got to do it like 6 times in a row, and then you run back to them just to get them to vote a certain way in the local political election. It's really you get. It's easy to get in the weeds of some of these side quests, but I mean, otherwise, it's the mythology and like the lore of the world is really cool. It's very engaging. Part of the time that you're going, like at the beginning of the game, you're trying to make contact with this airship, essentially, and the airship, you find out, is actually more of a city on the back of this giant flying creature. And then once you get through the first, like, third, maybe half of the game, I guess, then it shifts and you're on that city on the back of the flying creature, and it's very cool.
And then you control the creature?
Not so far, and I haven't gotten all the way through it yet, but it's you might do that too at some point. It's really cool, and it does keep you guessing, like in terms of where you're going with it. And I enjoy playing it. Like I said, it is very frustrating at points, so get ready to quickly segue into another game, or potentially break your controller at the point of frustration because of this game if you keep playing it for too long. I definitely have had experiences with JRPGs like that, or some such stuff,
Yeah.
So those are my thoughts. Shyness, The Lightning Kingdom, and as I said, that Enigami Studios, and then Focus Entertainment, I think, was the publishing house that brought it out. So it's the merging of those two, and it was interesting. But as I said, if nothing else, I'm really looking forward to what else Enigami Studios puts out, because I think this was a really unique First run, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty neat.
Yeah, it was fun.
Shyness and the Lightning King.
Yeah.
Dumb.
King Dum Dum.
King Dum Dum?
Yeah.
That's me.
You know King Dum Dum.
Yeah, I do.
Every time
like chocolate.
Every time you see him in the mirror.
Oh, shut up!
So, what content did you get down on this week?
So, well, since I'm back here in my hometown, I ended up accidentally running into my old family doctor.
Oh,
and
family doctor.
Family doctor, yeah, Dr. Scratch and Sniff.
Oh,
he was not a big fan of me being homeless. Also, not a big fan of me being shoeless.
Have you met anyone who is a fan of you or me being homeless? I have not yet made contact with any. Well, I wouldn't call him a fan. I would call him like a begrudging accomplice, borderline enabler.
Yeah.
But, no fans.
Yeah, I don't think we have any fans either. But anyway, this doctor...
Yeah.
He was not happy with me, so he kind of dragged me into his office.
Physically,
yeah. He grabbed me from the back of my neck. And
the scruff, like a mama cat.
He bit down on me and carried me up the stairs.
And you just went totally limp.
I couldn't do anything. Yeah. Like the rest of me went numb. I'm like, if I piss him off anymore...
Right. But I bet you felt oddly secure at the same time, right?
No.
No?
I was trying to have a good time. I mean, we're back in my homeland.
I know. But does this look like what you remember it? Because this is after... Dude, this is we're recording this like a week after the Super Bowl. So...
Actually, they cleaned up the city really nice, so...
Wow. Is that right?
Yeah, it looks really clean right now.
We have to get back to Chicago.
There's a lot of grease on the walls, but I think everything looks really good.
I have to tell you, I have not slept well one night that we've been here. There's so much noise in the distance of this city. There is so much trash. There is so much grease. I'm sorry, Greg. I don't mean to insult your hometown, but this is terrifying. And I'm from Chicago.
That means you're just a great big coward.
Yeah, okay, that may be so, but I just, I'm comfortable in Chicago. Say what you will about it. It's the devil I know, and I miss it. I'm a little homesick right now.
Well, that sucks because we're here right now, and
I hate it.
We're not going to go back for a little bit. I mean, we've got quite a walk. Quite a walk.
I know that.
Not a whole lot of train yards that are willing to pick us up.
Can you at least score me a cheesesteak while we're here?
I'll do you one better. I'll get you a roast pork, buddy.
A roast pork buddy?
A roast pork, buddy.
How does that work?
Well, you find a guy that seems good, plump, round, delicious looking.
Uh-huh.
And then you beat him within an inch of his life. You throw him in a deep fryer, and then you have a pork roast, buddy.
Well, I've got one of those.
Are you talking about me?
No. No, I'm not. I have somebody in mind that I think fits that description perfectly.
Someone who has been deep fried and...
Someone who's about to be deep fried.
Me?
No. Nope. Somebody else.
You?
Somebody else. Somebody unrelated. Someone.
Some rando?
Yeah.
My doctor?
But I'm ready.
You're ready?
I know who they are.
All right.
But before we get into that, you tell me about what content you were into. What did your doctor have to do with this content?
So my doctor was not very happy with me, and he kind of like put me into like a white room for like a day and a half.
Give you a little pat on the fanny?
He did a lot of things. He took a lot of blood, took a lot of skin, took a lot of hair, took a lot of nails, took a lot of teeth, took my kidney, and then he put me into a giant bathtub and handed me a PS4 controller and said, I'll come back in 6 months.
So your typical checkup is what you're saying.
My usual checkup,
yeah. Okay, well, cool.
It's a good thing that I have so many kidneys, or else
I know.
I would have lost all of them.
No,
now.
I know. I've always been jealous of your kidney
I mean,
count.
like, have you look at these scars?
Wow.
Yeah,
I
look
see
like gills.
you've got like yeah, you do. Those are deep. Two or three of them look like they're really not healing that well. I got to tell you.
It's fine.
But okay, so you're in the tub.
So I'm in the tub, and I turn on the PS4, and my doctors seem to have bought Monster Hunter World.
Whoa!
Yeah.
What a great doctor.
What a good guy. You know, I don't know what he did with my kidney. He said he had to do tests, but then he did like rabbit ears in the air. I don't know why he did that.
Did that in front of you when he said tests?
Like, he looked at me, he said, we're doing tests.
And he did the in-air quotations around test.
I was like, all right, I have no reason not to trust you.
You are a doctor.
Mm-hmm. But Monster Hunter World, this is the first time I've ever played a Monster Hunter game. Have you ever played the Monster Hunters?
No, I am a virgin of the Monster Hunter game series.
Well, I think you should remedy that, because this game is a hell of fun.
Oh, yeah?
If flawed, but really fun to play with friends.
Fun to play with friends, okay.
Yeah.
Hella fun.
Hella fun.
Okay.
So, Monster Hunter is a series about hunting monsters.
No shit.
And that's it.
Simplistic as the title implies.
Yes, you find a monster, and you hunt it. And you skin it, take its bones, make some snazzy clothes out of it,
Ooh,
and then find another
girl.
monster and do it all over again.
Hell yeah.
And
the Monster Hunter fashion shows, I'm guessing, are dynamite.
oh my god, gorgeous.
Out of this world.
That man is wearing a Pumbaa Bloom. Oh, and here comes Wurzer, wearing the very nice, very fluid Valkyrie dragon costume.
He looks so good in that. He looks so good in that every year.
I love the fact that he ripped off the antennas on top of that Velociraptor and taped it to his forehead.
You're killing it, Gunther! You're killing it again! Just like you killed it to make that outfit. You're killing the show right now.
You are endangering the environment because you have killed so many animals.
Okay, we'll be right back. Strange. Monster Hunter World fashion shows.
I guess it's strange because, like, to be fair, all the monsters are, a threat. They're big fucking dragons and shit, like eating villagers.
Right. We're not talking about, a cute sea turtle here that's endangered. We're talking about
We're talking about
beasts, monsters.
These guys are biggies.
Stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, so every monster feels like it's its own boss fight, too.
Sweet.
So every level, so there are two main things to do in the game. So you have your main hub world where you can craft and you can customize all your shit. It's where you build all your armor and weapons because you can't really buy any of them. You can buy like certain points of weapons the later that you get into the story, but for the most part, they're like, you're not going to get good weapons unless you kill that thing like 6 times.
I see. So the gear in the game is you don't get to buy anything. It's pretty much so if you see somebody rolling with some badass gear, you know they took down a fucking fierce monster. That's cool.
It's not something that you're like, I just shelled over like $50 million.
Right.
I put in 20 actual real dollars in the real world to get this cool ass armor.
Exactly.
No, I got this stick that has a bug attached to the end of it, and I jumped in the air and I killed this like vulture T-Rex, and then I wear its skin.
Love it. Respect.
I'm so cool.
Respect. You know? Yeah, it sounds fun.
It's a game full of Big Dick McCool guys, which I love.
I know. You do.
And the overall atmosphere of Monster Hunter is very goofy. Like, no, not that way. That's too goofy.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right. Well, Goofy and
Donald, like they're running around. Oh, Sora just killed the great Jagras there.
I could use one of them axes.
Shut up, Donald.
You should dunk your head into that water barrel over there, Donald. And then he does.
And he dies.
And then he dies.
It's fucked up.
That's the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3. It's tragic.
Spoiler alert. Sorry, everybody.
But Monster Hunter is incredibly satisfying because no monster feels the same. Some of them have similar body types because a majority of the monsters in this game are just kinds of dragons that are mixed with things. Like there's one monster introduced very early that's a combination of like a flamingo and a velociraptor.
Ooh, sounds lovely.
And what it likes to do is dig up rocks and use it as a shield.
Huh.
So when you try to hit it, it's like, no, fuck you, I got a rock. Ha ha.
Interesting.
There's another enemy I ran into. It's part snake, part flying squirrel, part skunk.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got electric powers.
Isn't that exactly how you described your penis to that homeless chick 2 weeks ago? When
she wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah, we were at that spring social.
She didn't like when I did the example of like, it goes like this. I stretch my arms out and legs out. And like,
no, you were doused in her drink, lickety-split.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry. Monster Hunter World.
Monster Hunter World, before I was seen as a crazy sex pervert. Thank you, Donald, for reminding everyone of that.
It was fun.
That little detail.
You struck my memory. You struck my memory exactly when you were giving the description of the electric snake boogaloo. I was like, that's almost exactly verbatim how you were pitching yourself to that.
I thought she would have liked someone that's aggressive. That's kind of monsterish.
And to be fair, she did look a great deal like Medusa. So I totally get your mythology approach.
I thought it would be a nice match. I'm like, I'm a monster, you're a monster. Let's make some monster children.
Hey, you went for it.
I'm wanted in like over half of the state of Illinois. I'm completely clean in Philadelphia. I haven't really done anything really bad here.
Oh, that's why you want to stay here. It's a little safety net.
Maybe.
I
feel safe here. The noise at night, lets me know that there is danger around, but I can tell how far away it is. And here's the great thing too. From playing Monster Hunter, I've been able to scour the land a lot easier too.
Really, I notice your pants are different than I've seen before. They look like snakeskin.
Yes, because I actually found a bunch of snakes, and I pasted them together to make a new pair of pants.
Like live snakes?
Yes.
Holy shit.
You want to see?
No, Greg, no. Those are still fucking alive.
Yeah.
Ew.
None of them are poisonous. They're just, snakes.
I didn't notice that at all. How are you wearing tons of snakes as pants?
Rope.
Aren't they constricting?
No. Not at all. In fact, they're rather loose.
Yeah, they are baggy. What is that? How did you do that?
Well, I dug around a bunch of holes. I went through the sewers, and I found a bunch of snakes, and I placed them all against my legs and thighs, and then I got some tweed, and I just wrapped around my legs, and bam, pants. Check out my belt, too.
Oh, that's just a fucking snake, too.
Yeah, man.
Oh, and you just pop its tail right into its mouth like that.
It's like an Ouroboros. It keeps going in a circle.
Yeah, but you
doesn't
can
stop.
But you can, I'm guessing, tighten it It's probably
it's self-tightening.
Oh, okay. And I'm guessing it's like a one-use belt, because if he ever chomps off that bit of tail so you can take it off, I mean, he's just going to be eating more tail after that, and it won't fit you.
Or he'll just be stuck there.
Yeah. So you're both kind of stuck with each other.
Yep.
Interesting.
We're like that movie with Greg Kinnear and Matt Damon. You know.
Dumb and Dumber?
Yes, that's the one.
Strange.
Yeah.
Stranger
things.
I know. All right, well, last thing, Greg, I will tell you is that this is an older book series that I read, so it's not this past week that I absorbed it, but I was reminded of it, and how frustrated I was by it, and I thought it represented a good opportunity for me to talk about what can go wrong with some content, especially like in a series. And what I'd like to talk about is the book series The Inheritance Cycle, also known as Aragon. It was made into a movie a few years back.
Oh, I remember that. I remember
Jeremy Irons.
I remember that big, dumb-looking purple dragon that's on the cover of the first book.
That's right.
I was like, man, that looks so derpy and stupid. I don't want to touch this series.
So the movie turned out to be pretty bad too. But the book series, it was originally meant to be a trilogy, the Inheritance Trilogy, and it's written by a kid named Christopher Paolini. And he started writing the books when he was like 15 years old. First time author.
What a tryhard.
Lived in a place called Paradise Valley, Montana with his parents, and was studying to go to med school, kind of like a genius kid, homeschooled and all that shit, but decided he wanted to try his hand as like a novelist. So he writes this story, Aragon. And it was a great book.
It knocked it out of the water.
It was a great book, especially when you consider it was like a 15-year-old kid, first-time author. For the pieces that it set up, when you think about all those classic stories like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, all these classic stories that have those archetypal roles, like a mentor, the orphan hero, the villain who's like sort of related to the hero, that kind of, you know what I mean?
They're
like
best friends. Yeah. John Malkovich.
Yeah. There's like, there's archetypal roles that many of these big-time classic stories hit, and Aragon set those all up beautifully. He notched all the checkpoints of a classic starter to a great series. And so Aragon was very good. The second book, still awesome. Continued it, heightened everything, introduced some new players into the drama, all successful. A big twist at the end really grabbed you in, left you with a cliffhanger, craziness. And then basically the last book started to get so long that he essentially split it into two parts. And the first part, so being the third book, also very, very good. Same thing as the second book, just took all the stakes even higher. The fourth and final book in this trilogy, and this again, this time span, in terms of real-world time, like myself as a reader waiting for these books to come out, this was about over, I want to say, like 7 or 8 years. So that's what the investment was as a reader. It's like those books came out every couple of years, so you're about 8 years in when the fourth book finally comes out. And it was like the fourth book turned out to be everything that everyone was worried would go wrong with the series with a first-time author. All of that happened in the fourth book itself. So imagine you invest 6 or 7 years into this thing only for the final book to be crushingly disappointing. Fucking awful. And the reason why...
That's a fucking shame.
It's horrible. And the reason why... There's a few reasons why. But ultimately, it's basically because all the payoffs... Every resolution of every plot line that you were looking for felt rushed, felt hurried, felt unfulfilling. It seemed like it was a gloss over. It felt like someone who came to realizing that they were, oh shit, I'm at the end of my series and I gotta wrap all this stuff up. And they did so in a rushed and hurried manner.
So they do a bunch of like, oh, it was my dad all along.
Yep.
My dad was the evil man.
Yeah. Love story. Oh, no, we're cool with just being friends, bud. Let's do a nice handshake, and all the sexual tension between us in the last 3 books, we're just buds. We're just pals, no problem. The mentor who died, he ended up dying for nothing, but that's okay. You know, you were all friends. It's all good. And so, yeah, I wanted to bring that up because... I don't want anyone reading The Inheritance Cycle. I don't want anybody to go through...
Well, that's good, because I've never read any of them.
Good, and that's why you're my man.
I've done it.
That's why you're my man. And
Yeah,
I don't want
that's me.
And any of you, I don't want any of you. If you have not read it and you were thinking about reading it, stay away from the Inheritance Cycle.
Yeah, don't look at Don in the eyes and talk about the Inheritance Saga, or he'll bite you.
Yeah,
I'll see it too.
I fucking will.
Look at his chompers. They're not sharp and pronounced like mine.
Yeah, but my jaw... No, they're not. But my jaw is strong. I'm like a hippo. I'll fucking use my 4 molars to crush your thigh bone after some severe
the most
grinding.
dangerous animal in the Sahara, the hippo.
They're territorial, man. You go...
No,
on top of land,
legit.
top of land is one thing.
Like,
underwater, they'll fucking run after you and kill you. Hippos account for more deaths per year than like lions and sharks.
When was that moment when you realized that hippos weren't the happy little fucking fat ass little monsters from like Jungle Book until now?
When I was 5 and I was playing Hungry Hungry Hippo with my brother, and I reached out onto the gaming board and he hit the button really hard and it chomped on my fingers. And I was like, oh god, hippos are dangerous.
Hippos will eat a man whole.
Yeah, so that's when I decided that they were actually something really to be feared.
I remember seeing a video of hippos eating a baby hippo, and I went, well, those are monsters.
Ruthless. They have no heart. They have no qualms about chomping on
oh,
their
you're
own
fresh
young.
out of the womb? Oh, I bet I'm stronger than you.
I'm hungry,
and you're just weak. You look like a big white ball.
All hippos, incidentally, sound like John C. Reilly. It's a fact in the animal kingdom. Everybody knows it. It's, Hey,
why are you walking on my path, you idiot? Star-Lord, get out of my way.
yeah.
They just turned into Arnold.
Hey.
Well, speaking of books, I've got a book series I do want to recommend you if you're looking for
please.
If you're looking for something fancy.
Yeah.
This is a series I love from high school, and I've actually started reading it again because it's just a really good book series. It's called The Night Angel Trilogy by Brent Weeks.
The Night Angel Trilogy. Night like royal night, or night like
the darkness.
The opposite of the day.
The opposite of the day. So the first book is called The Way of Shadows. And it's about this fictional world that's a mix of like Disney's Agrabah and Game of Thrones.
Whoa!
So there's a lot more magic in this world than like what Game of Thrones or the Song of Ice and Fire likes to show off. Mm-hmm. But the magic is so powerful that like very few people can actually take care of it.
Sure.
But the series is about this boy named Kyler, or that's the surname that he's given by his master as a joke, that wants to become the world's greatest assassin.
But he's a little slave boy because he has a master.
He was a little slave boy at first when he runs into his idol, Durzo Blint.
Durzo Blint?
Yes, Durzo is a badass. He's the world's greatest assassin.
Yeah.
People know his name because he's so good at being an assassin.
Yeah.
And kings don't dare to fuck around with him because he will kill them.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of doing it.
In the blink of an eye.
Yes. But it's a very dark, very sad series. Like, the very first book takes place over like Kyler's entire childhood up until he's a young adult. Mm-hmm. So you watch him like grow alongside other characters that are really, really likable. He becomes very close friends with the prince of the nation. He's also trying to keep himself at arm's length distance from his two best friends from when he was still a slave boy. One who essentially becomes a hooker, and
hard to maintain friendships with hookers.
He maintains that friendship like from the shadows, but his hooker friend is like, he's so good at being a hooker that he becomes like the head of the hookers eventually.
Whoa, the madam.
And then his other friend who he has super hardcore crush on, her name was Doll Girl, or that's what they called her before she got a new name when she was finally adopted. Problem was though, Kyler's rival as a child sliced her face up real bad.
Oh,
like real bad. She is
damn Doll Girl.
Her face is bad, but it's funny because it keeps going in Kyler's mind, and he's like, her body is so good, but her face is so bad.
Classic Butterface.
It's a real Butterface.
Oh,
but it's
sorry, Doll Girl.
It's a tragic story But if you're looking for like a really good fantasy novel about like assassins, I highly recommend the series.
Cool.
It's super, super good. I love going back into it.
What was the name of the trilogy overall?
So it's the Night Angel Trilogy. The first book is called The Way of the Shadows. The second one is called Shadow's Edge. And then the last one is called Beyond the Shadows.
Gotcha.
And it's about the just the overall growth and character development of this young boy who said, I want to kill people.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. It's dark. It's very sad, especially the second book. It's very Empire-ish.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny that you bring that up, though. You know how people always say Empire's like the darkest of Star Wars and stuff? It's not just Star Wars where the second chapter is the darkest. Lord of the Rings, people make that argument. Like, in a trilogy, oftentimes the second book is the darkest.
Yeah. I need to rewatch the Lord of the Rings because I haven't seen any of them in a very long time. I remember the first movie to the T.
Yeah.
I remember Fellowship like that.
Right.
I can remember the story beats. I can remember the lines. The second movie, I have a really hard time remembering.
The second one's actually my favorite. Two Towers is my favorite. It's just, and I think it's because. And I think that, it's just like with Empire, with Star Wars, I think the fact that it is often the darkest chapter of it, there's often a lot of good nuggets of story beats in there, of interactions between characters, just real gritty stuff.
Yeah,
and
when you're not afraid to go gritty is when your story gets really interesting.
Right, and there's often, in the second chapters, there's some pretty dark fights. Some pretty, like, or not dark fights, but costly fights. You think about Empire and Luke losing his hand. In Two Towers, there's the Battle of Helm's Deep, where the costs are huge, but, you know, they end up victorious, but it's still like, I mean, it's still a very costly battle, and they're going through the night. But it's dark stuff, and I think that's in a trilogy anyway. If you're writing 3 books, the reason that I think that happens regularly is because when you have a dark second chapter, it sets up the third for an elevating resolution.
Yeah. Interesting.
Leaves you on a good note. But that's all cool. So yeah, Night Angel Trilogy, read it. Inheritance Cycle, stay away from it. It's not worth it. Shyness, The Lightning Kingdom, worth playing. I think it's fun. Good action RPG, great fighting. And
Monster Hunter World, very good. Very, very good game. Play with friends. You'll have a lot more fun playing with friends. The UI sucks. I hate the UI. I hate the menus.
Gotcha.
They're not great, but murdering giant monsters and skinning them for parts is so satisfying.
You said, and that's a Capcom game, isn't it?
It's Capcom.
Yeah, so that fighting style is like you're familiar with it.
Kinda like it's very intricate because there's so many weapons and shit to play around
with.
Right. There's experimentation as soon as you start the game up, so play however you want with it. And
fun.
That's the funness of it.
Sounds fun. That sounds all good. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind, Greg. I want to go get a cheesesteak somewhere, or all
right, buddy. We're going to Jim's on South.
Okay, let's do that. Also, I'm gonna take this corpse of the pixie, and I want them to put it in my cheesesteak.
Ew.
Yes, I want them to take
this. Are
this.
you sure? I took a big old bite of that thing. It's not tasty.
I know it's not tasty, but I'm trying to absorb its powers. That's what I want.
I don't think that's gonna work, Don.
I'm putting it on the cheesesteak, so I'm gonna wrap it up in this wax paper here.
It's a good thing that
Grab it in my
carnivals like to.
pocket.
Barnum and Bailey's had a surplus of wax paper.
Oh yeah, well, and then also that I could just to keep it safe from the elements, I'll just use this empty balloon that we were sucking some helium out of before. And
there we go. Yeah, look at that.
Alrighty.
Fun on a bun.
Good. So yeah, we're gonna go get some
because that literally
cheesesteaks.
will be on a bun.
Exactly. And pixies are pretty fun when they're alive, and I'm hoping that I can absorb
that
some
one
of that.
wasn't fun.
Not at all.
It tried to dig in me.
Not at all. Which is why we killed it. But anyway,
excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm the one wearing the snake pants. I believe I'm the monster hunter around here.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you do have
speaking
snake
of
pants.
which, have you seen my shoes yet?
No, I haven't.
Pure turtle.
What the fuck are you doing with those? Those are
What?
2 live turtles on your feet.
Yeah, they're my shoes. I found them. They're my shoes. This is how monster hunting works.
This
is armor.
This is an endangered
This
species
is so I
of
can kill
turtle.
Gollum.
This is an
I'm a
endangered
warrior.
species of turtle
I
that
did
you
it
have
with
on
my
both of your
left
feet.
hand.
Okay.
I have
You
a
had to because you have no fingers on your right.
Well,
hand.
I mean, like I still have a palm here, so I can be like, smack him.
Is that what you did?
I smacked him a bunch, and then I used my other hand to tie him in my body. You want to see what my shirt's made of?
No, I don't want to see that. And that snake is biting your right leg. You see that, right?
It's not poisonous.
That's why
I think.
it's not a good idea.
What kind of snake is that?
It looks like a corn snake. That looks like a corn snake.
Yeah, we're fine. It's not poisonous.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Well, as long as you're cool with it. Greg and I we're gonna go get a cheesesteak. We'll
maybe we'll find a roast pork buddy.
Hopefully we'll find a roast pork buddy. That's all anybody can ask for on this planet, right? Is just like a warm bed and a good roast pork buddy, and you're set.
Yep.
You're my roast pork buddy. Yeah.
Wait.
Yep.
You didn't.
You agreed to it. That was a handshake.
What?
So you're gonna be my roast pork
buddy. That was
buddy.
not a handshake.
Greg's my roast pork buddy now.
No, get the fuck away from me.
So
I will sick my snakes on you.
Don't even. Get away from me. Get away from me.
Be free, my children.
I hate
Attack!
snakes.
Ha-ha! Yes. That's what you get.
It's down my throat.
Traitor! Traitor!
It's down my throat.
I hope you choke to death, you piece of shit.